Well, good afternoon, listeners. You're listening to Lament of Hope podcast, and I'm your host, Danielle Richardson. And I am so excited to be here today. I have Darci Lynne with me. Since I started the podcast, which is like 2.5 years ago now, I've always wanted to have her on. And her story to me has always been very inspirational. And so it's so neat that this just ended up working out. She is going to be coming to the East Coast to do a tour starting in the summer. But for those of you who don't know who she is a female ventriloquist. But she's also branched out into acting. She's released music singles. She actually recently made a cameo appearance in the Ronald Reagan film, which was kind of cool to see. But her biggest thing, obviously, right now is the ventriloquism, and she's just been known around the world for just her ventriloquism family and the different animals that she uses and brings to life. And so it's so cool to get to connect with her. She won America's Got Talent in 2017, and she placed second in America's Got Talent, The Champions, which was several years later. So, Darci, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So, Darcy, I want to start out obviously with this tour that's coming up. I know, a big thing for your tour and that you do advertise is it's something that's family friendly. It's something that you want everyone to be able to come to. What can someone expect coming to your show who's never been before?
Well, like you said, it's very family friendly. It's one of my favorite parts about my shows that usually when I look out on the audience, you can see people from ages 3 all the way up to 83. So it's very multi-generational and for everybody. But the show is just a blast. It's just a variety of things. I mean, hopefully people will laugh. I'm a little biased. I think the show is kind of funny, but yeah, expect laughter and lots of different genres of music. I grew up on so many different genres of music, so it's kind of an eclectic show on the music side. But and then I've got all four of my friends with me, Petunia, Oscar, Edna, and then a new one that people probably have not met yet, but his name's Andy, new character that I worked on. But it's a blast. It's just all ages, bring your whole family and yeah, just fun time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's what's been so cool to see too is the fact that obviously you're singing for your characters, as your lips are closed, which is incredible. But when you've also just sang yourself, I mean, you have a really beautiful voice. I wanted to ask you, because I've noticed you've started branching out and starting to do some singles where it's just you singing. Um,
Mhm.
where have you always loved to sing since you were young, or is that something that as you've been doing more of these shows, you've come to see that that's another side of you that you really want to get out there as well?
No, actually, the singing came first. That was it's always going to be like my first love, my first passion, just because I mean, I grew up in a very musical house and so did my mom. So she kind of just passed that down to me. Like my grandparents were in a band together and my mom and her three sisters sang and I grew up singing with my mom in church. So it just kind of came natural to me and um I think early on, yeah, God decided I was gonna be a singer. But then the ventriloquism came. So I think, singing will always kind of be my first passion, I will say, and then the ventriloquism. So yeah, it's a different it's a different journey singing like, you know, by myself with my mouth open. It's not what people know. It's not what people know me for, but it's something I love to do and especially when the songwriting came later during quarantine, it is definitely like a side of me that I do want people to know more. Um, but yeah, but that being said, the singing came first. So I will say like my singing has always been the main passion, I will say.
Do you want to eventually let the ventriloquism go and do singing like full time, like have a band of your own or something like that? Or do you always want to incorporate the ventriloquism as well?
I don't really want to let it go just because it's also such a huge part of myself. Like I also believe that for me to find this kind of niche art form was also divinely influenced. Like I just, it's a part of me. So I don't want to let it go, but I think there is a world in which like I could balance the two and do both. Which a lot of people kind of a lot of industry people are always like, no, like the ventriloquism is what makes you special and everything. But I also just can't help the passion that I have in my heart for music. So I think there's a world in which I could do both. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true that that's kind of when I think of Darci Lynne, you think of the ventriloquism.
mhm,
But I wanted to ask you because I have found this hard myself, and I'm not a famous person, just have this podcast, but point
mhm.
being is that there's so many expectations, even if you're not well known about things to do. So I have my niche and I like it, but I always have all these other pressures that I'll come across, and some are internal, some aren't, of doing something different. Or if you did this, maybe it would grow faster. Or if you gave this up, maybe people would like you better. Or if you didn't say this, things would go better for you. And I wanted to ask you, I mean, a few things. One thing I've noticed, I mean, you're open about your faith, what you believe, which is not for a young person in your industry, that must be hard because I wouldn't find that that would be an encouraged thing. But two, the fact that, like you said, you're like, well, I like singing and the ventriloquism. I'm not just sticking to one thing, but usually in your industry, there's only one thing you're known for, and then you're going to capitalize on that one thing as much as possible. And so, I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you face internal pressure? Do you ever feel like maybe I need to give something up so that more people know who I am? I mean, how do you kind of navigate that, especially since you're like this is your career, your life is starting, like there's just so much in front of you. And so I've wondered at times if that's just hard to navigate staying true to what you know you're supposed to do.
Yeah. No, it definitely has been hard. I think there was a season right before I graduated high school where I was kind of struggling a bit. Just, people have. Oh, sorry. My goodness. Let me turn that off. Um, growing up kind of under a microscope was definitely challenging. Because half the time I wanted nothing more than just be normal and go to school sometimes, and just be Darcy. And so, yeah, but then while at the same time, just getting to do all these incredible things that it was such a blessing at the same time. But yeah, I think, people have kind of frozen me in time a bit at the age of 12 and what I did on the show. And so when I'm, getting, like I said back right before I graduated high school, it's like I'm trying to figure out who I am at 18. I have no idea like what I want to do in life, and all these people for years now have been telling, this is who you are, this is what you're gonna do, and so yeah, it definitely kind of became difficult trying to live up to expectations and everything because I wanted to branch out a lot with music starting 2 years ago. And it was kind of scary just because, my shows, people come through, like, especially moms and dads, like, thank you so much for, being such a great role model for my kid and everything like that. And so it's like, oh, if I branch out a bit from this, like, I'm going to disappoint all the moms. And, it's just all those kind of inner, inner monologue that held me back a bit from wanting to do the music. Um, But I just always go back to, I just feel like God wouldn't place it in my heart to want to do it if wasn't supposed to. So, I'm honestly still trying to figure out how to navigate my inner monologue now, still, even like 2 years later. Um, but yeah, it's definitely I think there is a pressure of like, I have to be perfect and make all the right decisions, especially since there's like young kids watching me. So
Hmm.
yeah, there is a certain pressure of all of it, but yeah, I'm still learning how to handle it.
Well, I was gonna, do you have a song, either one you've released, I know you've released a few, or just one you love that you think
Mm.
encapsulates who you are in this season of life that you just,
Oh
when you
my
hear it, you're like, ah, it's my song.
God. Well, it actually hasn't been released yet, but I am thinking of a song that um I recorded last last summer. And it's something I think I'm gonna put it out this summer actually. Still trying to figure that out, but it's called Better Late Than Never, and it's just kind of a personal anthem of like you can't please everybody, and um you know I'm just gonna kind of just go with the flow and do what I feel in my heart is right. And so yeah, it's just personal anthem is better late than never to do, what you're passionate about and to just be yourself. To not listen about, the noise of people around you. So yeah, I would say definitely is that kind of mindset is what I'm trying to achieve right now. It's easier said than done. I'm like my a lot of like biggest critic over here, but I will say yeah, that song. But I think I'm hoping to put it out this summer, which will be cool.
No, that sounds, I mean, I feel like that's what everybody ought to do. I mean, not to be, maybe that sounds a little harsh, but just in the sense of like, if you're passionate about something, you should try it. Never let it
Hmm.
go by and you never tried or did it,
Hmm.
you know? Um, but I know you mentioned or have mentioned in the past you were very shy. And I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that because all you do now and the way you connect with people, it's so personable that you wouldn't guess you were shy before. I mean, just for yourself, when you see this growth in your like ability to talk with people, your ability to perform so well, the fact that people love your shows. I mean, how does that feel, the fact to see that arc that you've kind of gone through, and it's really not been that long.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I really pretty reserved as a kid, but that's how I found out about ventriloquism is because my mom kind of put me in these scholarship pageants, these little beauty pageants and stuff to come out of my shell, and so that's when I met the girl who did it for her talent. Um, and so yeah, I mean, I sang around the house ever since I could remember, but it never came out outside of the house for a while. So I'm very much an introvert and I still am an introvert. So it's kind of ironic that like, my career is spent on a stage, but it's like something kind of just switches in my brain on a stage. It's kind of just let loose and um kind of let go of any uh I don't know, any shyness on the stage. It's interesting. But then as soon as I'm off the stage, I'm still like my introvert self. So there's definitely been an arc for sure. Because I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now 5 years ago. But yeah, it's wild. It's wild how, how that works.
What do you, when the show ends, what's your first go-to thing to do? Do you just kind of like go in the back of the stage and sit down and put a towel over your head and just put steam up your nose to
Oh
What's
my gosh,
your,
I
how do
wish.
you just go, ugh, I'm tired
I don't
now.
know. Every time I finish a show, it's just kind of surreal. Because I just go backstage and I'm like, well, I did that. It's just it's wild. I don't know. There's not much of a ritual after. Definitely kind of a ritual before, but I just kind of like, just kind of sit down and gather my process, I guess. Because every time it's an adrenaline rush for sure. It's like,
Oh yeah.
whoa. Yeah. So
Do you have Is there a particular routine you're very proud of that you've come up with yourself that you
Gosh.
think is your favorite?
Ooh, that's really hard. I hate watching myself, so it's it's kind of hard to like, I mean, I force myself to watch some of my stuff just to grow and kind of get better, but honestly, it's taken me a while to appreciate like my own talent, and every now and then I'm still like, I don't want to watch myself. But I think half the time I'm pretty blind to what I do. Um, but I will say like this particular show in the tour I'm on right now, am genuinely proud of it, and that's hard for me to say just because I'm so critical of myself. But I will say I've really worked really hard on it, and it's been cool to see it come into fruition because I after I graduated high school, I wasn't really on the road for 2 years. I was really burnt out and really kind of struggling with what I wanted to do next and who I was and everything. So yeah, 2 years off the road can put a dent for sure and like, you know, just success anyway. And but it's been a really cool to come back and I've I've honestly been surprised at how many people have actually come to the shows. Just after 2 years of being off the road, it's been like I'm pleasantly surprised that people still appreciate this kind of niche thing. But yeah, I will say this tour, I'm particularly proud of it, just because we've worked so hard.
Well, when you say that you took the 2 years off, were you afraid when you started it that that was going to happen, that like nobody would want to come back, but you knew
Oh, for
you
sure.
needed to take it?
Oh yeah, I really did need to. I think I mean, I started on the road when I was 13, touring right after AGT, and so toured pretty much consecutively for 5 years. And a lot of how much my life had changed uh definitely did get to me when I was probably, 13, 14, 15, but it all caught up to me when I was about to graduate high school. It just kind of all came in a wave, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is crazy." I think it just kind of eventually caught up to me because half the time all everything just straight over my head. I was just like, kind of just going with the flow. But yeah, definitely needed that kind of 2 year hiatus, just mental health wise, and um kind of yeah, just needed that process time. And but then, after those 2 years, I was ready to get back on the road, and I think that's why the show is as good as it is because I'm super passionate about it. And so when I'm passionate about something, I just really um go all in. So yeah.
And you had the time to rest. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like you were just starting, just turning out content as quickly as you possibly could.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about the mental health aspect, because it's something I mean, I struggle with myself, but also I find that more young women are, especially, I
Yeah.
was just talking to some young singers a few weeks ago, and like, music has been their one outlet to express how they're feeling. And the world has just become such a hard place that it's hard for them to process anything outside of music and singing.
Yeah.
And um, I wanted to ask you, like, for you, what do you think is the hardest thing about being a young woman right now?
Oh my gosh.
And this is obviously, again, just your experience personally. Like, what do you find the hardest?
Um, I don't know. I think I find it difficult. I think right now it's hard to be on social media or in any kind of um media outlet just because it's there's just so much going on. It's just so saturated, especially with things that make you feel like you have to be like it's just kind of easily influencing, and there's not a lot of I feel like there's no one to look up to right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's disorienting. Um, yeah, I don't know if that made sense, but I would say it's hard to be a young woman, especially on social media right now. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just so much.
Well, I think it's interesting because social media is always like be authentic, be yourself. And you're
hmm
like, okay, but then when I do that, I'm not fitting something because it's not working.
hmm
Um, and there's always more I can be. And I think that's just, and obviously everyone on social media looks amazingly beautiful. And you're like, well, I don't, first of all, don't have the money to do this, or I don't like putting makeup on all the time, or I
hmm
actually don't think I look that great, so I don't like to highlight that. And I
Yeah,
think it's like you said, it's interesting when you said there's no one to look up to. That is so true. I don't have anyone either. I don't think. Like there are people you like to watch, but you would
yeah,
say, would I like look up to them? I don't think so.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just so I just social media is not my favorite. I belong on a stage and performing and making people laugh, but I think social media has been hard for me to really get into, and it's crucial for like my job and my career, and I wish it wasn't, honestly speaking, just because like if I didn't have to kind of do it to keep up, with promoting the tour or just whatever, I wouldn't do it. I'd probably delete everything, but it's just like, yeah, it is overbearing and kind of soul-sucking for sure.
What do you find restful? Like if you're obviously you have to practice and you have the social media and all of this stuff. But is there something you really find restful to do? It's really low pressure that just kind of
Um,
helps you relax and feeds into your soul as a person?
You know, I'm honestly working on that right now. Like personally, I'm working on finding more rest than I do right now. Um, just when life is so fast paced, I do struggle with setting aside time to rest and also just finding rest in the Lord as well. Like that's something I'm working on. But I will say I think what's restful for me is I journal a lot and write poetry, and so I will say like the songwriting is kind of what definitely has saved me over the last like 5 years when things kind of just get to be super just noisy and fast. Like it's very restful to just sit and kind of pour out honest thoughts on a page, and whether I'm like prayer journaling or just journaling in general, like that's super restful. And I also love to read too. So that's more of a just a fun thing, but yeah. But I'm honestly working on allowing myself more of that time because sometimes it just does not happen, and then the rest needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I know I'm not good at it either. I've had to get better at it because of, you burn yourself out and then your body does not allow you to to do anything but rest.
Yeah.
Um, but when you were talking about books, what kind of books do you like to read?
Oh my gosh. I'm a huge fan of fantasy. I mean, it's just like it's such an escape. It's really fun. I I honestly wish I read more self-help books, but like I wish I read more nonfiction because I'm probably not expanding my brain at all. But it is restful, I will say. Um, let's see. I also want to read a mystery soon. I really like mystery thrillers are really fun to read. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you find it, because do you like reading mystery thrillers as opposed to watching like true crime? Is it more?
Both. I love watching true crime, which is sad. It's morbid, but I
No,
mean,
I do too, but
oh,
it's
we all know, seriously, like a good podcast in the car on like a road trip. Me and my mom listen to true crime all the time. Um, so yeah.
do you, what kind of true crime do you like? Like that you find interesting? Like, is it about, I remember I was really into a medical malpractice. It was like, I think it was called like
Oh,
Dr. Death or something, and it was talking about like an actual guy who had was a surgeon for years and who like actually hurt his patients on purpose throughout like years before they actually found him and put him.
wow. Where
It
where'd
was
you listen to
crazy.
this on?
If you look up on Spotify, it's called Dr. Death, and I don't remember the name of the company that made it, but I was hooked on it and I could not stop listening to it, and I couldn't believe it was real. Like,
That's
uh,
crazy.
I know it scared me. I think I went to doctors after that, and I was a little bit like, eh. um, but I was gonna say, like, what kind of like, what kind of true crime do you like? Do you like, um,
Honestly, lately I've really think it's been interesting listening to like 19th century like murders, like really like really early on. Like
yeah.
it's re- it's interesting to like to listen to how they handled it legally because it's just like what? And without any of the modern forensics and stuff, it's interesting to listen to that. So,
No, yeah, I mean it's do you what's that? Do you listen to that a podcast of that old he's an older man with a British accent who tells the stories from like the 19th century.
oh, I don't, but I should.
He tells crazy stories about like he did an episode on the Elephant Man. He's done
Okay.
episodes on a whole bunch of different I think like he did one about the last woman who was electrocuted in the electric chair, which is not, it's sad. It's
Wow.
not like fun, but
Right.
but I you find yourself listening to these things and you're like, that's crazy that that
Oh,
happened.
seriously.
But then I came across an article that said if you enjoy true crime, there's something wrong with you. And I was like, oh dear. So now I'm like
Well,
purposely like, okay, I'm not, I don't want there to be anything wrong with me. So
well, if there's something wrong with us, then I think there's something wrong with a lot of people because a lot of people listen to true crime. So, you know, I don't know.
what is do you when you were talking about the music genres you love, I mean, when I've listened to you and like what you post on social media, you've got some jazz on there, you've got some musicals, you obviously have some more modern pop. Is there a genre you like more that you
Mm,
listen to a lot or that you sing a lot?
that's so hard. I feel like I have such a hard time being like, this is the kind of music that is like my top. I mean, I listen to so much music. It's just all over the place. I will say, if I had to choose, it'd probably be like soul pop. Like my
Mm.
heroes, I love Etta James. Like, I mean, the At Last album is my favorite album ever. Yeah. I mean, just like classic soul and kind of just really soulful stuff. I mean, I will say that's kind of what naturally comes out of me if I ever sing or write anything. But I also grew up listening to 80s rock. Like my dad is huge 80s rock guy, and so I grew up on that. So I love rock and um I lately I've been into a lot of alternative like indie pop, which is not common for me. Usually I just kind of turn away from that kind of stuff, but honestly, it's kind of weird. I'm like, wow, this is vibey. So it changes all the time. And I'm also a huge theater kid. I love musical theater too. So there's just a lot going on in my music app.
Well, when you say soulful music, what do you what draws you to it? Is it because of the way it sounds like the cry of a heart, or for you is it just the
Sure.
lyrics? What is the
No, it's not the lyrics. It's definitely the way it sounds and feels. But I mean, I just love funky chords and soul music and like blues. I mean, the funky chords are all over the place, so it just I don't know, it kind of just hits a weird nerve in my brain and I'm like, this is incredible. But yeah, I just grew up with a lot of old music, like Frank Sinatra and Aretha Franklin, like all of the classic music I am usually drawn to. And then, like I said, I've been getting into some of this modern, like alternative stuff, but definitely soul and blues and jazz and pop, I will say, are the. I just listed like four as my top, but it's really like choosing a favorite kid. I can't like, I love them all.
is there a performer now living that you really want to collaborate with at some point?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Um, I love Marcus King. He like his music, I mean, first he put out a rock album and then it was like singer-songwriter and then he put out alternative. So I don't really know what he's really like kind of soulful rock, I will say. He's so cool. I would love to sing with him. Chris Stapleton, I mean, he's my favorite country artist because he's got like he's got that kind of soulful twinge on him in his music. Like it's not just straightforward country. There's a lot of like soul in it, and I think that's why he's my favorite. Um, who else? Haley Reinhart would be really cool to sing with. She's not crazy big, but I mean her voice is insane. So and again, like she's kind of soulful
Yeah.
pop. So
What's your favorite? Is your favorite, you said At Last album is your favorite, like
Mm.
soulful album. Is there a song on it in particular you really like?
Oh my gosh. Probably Sunday Kind of Love. Um, that's I could listen to that song like a bajillion times. It does not get old for me. It's one of my favorite songs ever. Um, I will say my favorite song of all time though is not an Etta James song. It's a Billie Holiday song. And it's I'll Be Seeing You. That
Yeah, she's
song.
good.
So good. So good.
What do you, 10 years from now, what would you like in your life? Do you want to be, um, doing this full time, singing the ventriloquism? Do you have a place in particular you want to go to? Do you want to have a family? Like what is Darcy's dream and hope for future years?
Oh my gosh. It's hard. I've got like too many dreams to count, so like I feel like I have to some of them I have to pick and choose. Um, Career dream, I will say. I really eventually would love to put out an album, like a debut album, and be just really proud of it and have it out someday. Once I kind of figure out, okay, yeah, this is my sound and this is kind of what I want to say, which I'm just still figuring that out. I only started writing music like 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's a huge goal for me. It would honestly be such a dream to kind of I don't know, probably be a part of some sort of project that I don't think we would just bring back family friendly TV. Like it'd be really cool to have my own TV show that is
Hmm.
something you put on and like the kids can be in the room and but then the adults still enjoy it. I mean that'd be a blast, but that's like I don't know. Um, that'd be cool. I guess yeah, something like that in the next 10 years. But I don't know. I also really want to have a family, so I I'm a really ambitious person when it comes to my career, and so, there's a few things I want to do before I go full-time mom because whenever that happens, I don't want to be preoccupied by anything in my career to where I can't be a present mom, and so that's really important to me to whenever that day comes that it's okay, that this has been awesome, but pause now and focus on um children like my kids. So um that is a goal. I'm not sure. I don't know when that'll happen. We'll see. But
That's true. I mean, it is kind of, it comes to you, you know, as opposed
mhm.
to you kind of planning, okay, tomorrow this will happen to me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That'll be crazy when that happens.
Do you feel, because I know I've talked to some young women who are doing really well in a career right now and they want to have kids, but they feel like they're really afraid of that because they don't want to lose the passion they have as well as they don't want to lose the opportunity to have children. So they don't really know how to do both. So they feel this pressure of having to pick one or the other. I know
Mhm.
you mentioned pausing. For you, is that something that you stress or think about? Is like, how would I balance both? Or do you feel very comfortable with the idea of, well, I would just put one on pause and I would just return later if I wanted to?
That's essentially how I imagine it. I don't think I don't think my career has to completely end when I have a baby, but I also just really, I think it's important to focus my attention and time and love like first when that starts. And then, like I think there is a way in which to balance the two, but I think right off the bat, I think there is a time where I would completely pause and dedicate the majority of my time. Um, but no, I definitely think there is a way to balance the two. I think also it's just personal to the person. Um, but yeah, I don't know. No idea how that's gonna go. Um, let you know in like yeah, 10 business years. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, is there, because it seems like I've seen, at least with what's been shown through the media and stuff, but also just on your social media, you and your mom seem to have a really good relationship. I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
ask, like, is there things from her that have made it so you like have had a really valued childhood because of your mom?
Oh my gosh, yeah. My mom's like my best friend. So yeah, I would model so many things from her when I have future children. Like, I mean, she's just there aren't words. Just the most selfless person, I think. So that's why when I say that things would go on pause just because like my mom pauses her life all the time for her kids. So
Hmm.
and and then it means the world. Like I couldn't. I would not make it through anything that has happened to me over the last 7 years without her and my dad. Like they both just have been incredible rocks and have always led me back to God half the time when I'm, searching any other place for comfort. It's always like, have you prayed about it? Like, let's pray about it. Like, even when I'm just like annoyed, just always, just great, very faithful people. And so that's been uh huge. But yeah, no, I would definitely take so many things that they have taught me and when it when the day comes. So
What's your favorite characteristic about your mom?
um honestly, oh my gosh, that's just so hard. There's so many that I really love about her. Um, Probably how loyal she is. She's like, and again, like just selfless. Even
Hmm.
if she, I mean, even if she gets nothing in return, it's just give, give, give. Like, no, no, never take, just always give. And so, yeah, I would say, no, I would say her selflessness. Definitely her selflessness for sure.
Is there a moment in time that you remember her being really selfless that surprised you? Like you really didn't think that was gonna happen or that she was gonna do that? And that just like for you was like, I will never forget this moment. Like that just really stuck in your mind.
Oh my, I genuinely don't know if I can pinpoint one because there's been so many moments where my mom has surprised me, like when I needed it the most, she's provided. So I don't know. She's sacrificed so much for me. I will say whenever I was on AGT, it was just me and her. My dad had a job, so he had to stay home um a lot for the majority of it. So it was just me and her for like 2 months in a hotel room and just her sticking by my side and talking me through my tears and anxieties and
Mm.
long rehearsals and self-doubt. Like she's always there to, pick me up and everything. So I don't know, but there's just so many there's so many moments and seasons of life where she's, just kind of held me through it all. So yeah, it's hard to pinpoint just a single moment.
I think I think I love asking that though, because I feel like in our culture now there's so many broken families. And so whenever there's an opportunity to hear about a parent or a child who've just connected so well and who've been mutually encouraging to each other, just like what you're talking about, where you're like, your mom's a safe space. When you think of mom, you think, okay, I can go to her. She can, she'll be with me on this. I can trust her advice. I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's becoming more of a rare thing. And so it's such a beautiful testament when you can hear um, parents actually being positive influences on their kids, you know?
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm definitely a testament to that. Like my dad too. I mean, he's like one of the strongest, like he's very strong spiritually. He's always just like, always encouraged me and my brothers in that way. Um, and have just a very, very level-headed and throughout me and my mom's just irrational thinking. Like he's just like he's so level-headed. And so we would also would not survive without him too. So made a good team. And then of course my brothers, they just think, I'm just Darcy to them. So, you know,
Did you like growing up with just brothers?
I didn't for a while. What's funny is I did always want a sister. I used to wish for a sister every year on my birthday. But then I
You're like,
stopped because
Mom, get cracking. Come on.
Mm. But then I stopped because I mean I couldn't ask for better brothers. They love me very well and they all love me in a different way, I will say. Yeah, I think no, it's been special to just have brothers and be the only girl. So,
Yeah, I mean, now you have all these protectors now. You've got your dad and then you've got all your brothers. Like, nobody could possibly cause you any harm.
well, yeah. Yeah, my oldest brother, he's 28. He is like a second father. I mean, it's crazy like when it comes to boys and stuff. Like my poor boyfriend. He's a trooper, but yeah, they're both, I would say my dad and Nick, my oldest brother, are very, very protective. And then Dalton, he's almost 25. Um, he's like one of my best friends. Like we always kind of just get into trouble together. And then and then my little brother Nate is almost 18 and we used to not be buddies, but now we're buddies and he's just the funniest. He's hilarious. So he makes us laugh all the time. Um, but yeah, they all kind of play a different role. But yeah, they're the best.
No, yeah, I mean, it was cool. I remember when you won AGT, they all came on the stage and were cheering you on, and it was just so sweet to see.
They weren't supposed to do that. Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. The security and all of the security guards that are always on set for AGT, I mean, they were so mad because I don't think they knew that they were my brothers at first. I was just random men just like running on stage. And my little brother tried, but he got like pummeled by a security guard. So just my two older ones made it. And then Nate's just like bawling his eyes out because it was so chaotic, but it was awesome.
I mean, see, that's so hard because it's like they're your family. This is never going to happen to you again. So like they're over the moon. It's a one in a lifetime moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I can understand the security guards, but then at the same time, you're so in shock you can't really say,
Oh my gosh.
can you like not do that to these men? These are my brothers.
Seriously. No, yeah, I'm just like, I think I blacked out. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, for those rooting for you, it was crazy. It was like, it was so, and I hate to say this, I'm gonna say it anyway, and I'm probably gonna be, but over the years, the type of talent that would come on, it was like, this isn't really that talented. And I don't mean to be mean to people. I really don't. But like actual talent, the bar for that is pretty low. So when we were like somebody who had talent won, we were like, oh my gosh. It was like monumentally wonderful. It's like, yes, she has talent. She won the show. It's about
Yeah.
talent. We're all excited. Um, and also I think your humility, you just, yeah, you came across just very sweet, humble, and I think that authenticity was something I think people will always gravitate toward real authenticity. Um, and I think that's one reason why when you were talking about your show and like coming back, whenever you do perform and seeing that, you are always real. It's not like you're making it up. Like you enjoy it and people see you enjoy it. And so they enjoy it too, because it's not something you're just doing. Um, but I want to ask you one more question just to, be respectful of your time. But I was going to ask, I know you've mentioned your dad and your mom and being like solid rocks for you spiritually. As you're walking through leaving your teen years, you're now an adult. you're, like you said, you've got all these things trying to figure out who you are, what you're gonna do. Is there a particular aspect of God that you know better now than you did when you were 12? That you're like, oh, I don't just know it as like a intellectual thing, but like I've experienced it so that I know this about God. So this is something I'm holding on to during even the times when I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do.
Mm. I will say, I will say his faithfulness, like, I mean, that he believes in me more than anybody. Um, I always kind of struggle with feeling kind of worthy enough. And I really love the saying that he doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Um,
Hmm.
I really definitely kind of definitely hold on to that simple truth um that he believes in me enough and loves me um enough, and then that should be enough. That if anything, if all of this were to just kind of, disappear, that I will just continue to kind of find my worth in him and not anything else, which is very easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Definitely his faithfulness when I'm not. So that's kind of what I hold on to for sure.
Yeah. Well, Darcy, I mean, you're an encouragement to me, and you can see God's compassion and even his silliness in a way, his love of comedy and laughter and something that people can partake in and it be clean and something they enjoy. And I'm excited to see what else you're gonna do. So thank you so much for what you do, and thanks for doing this with me and taking time to chat.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This was just so lovely.
I'm glad. Hopefully
Yeah.
this is a little time for you, restful moment in your
Yeah.
day.
No, this was so restful, very restful, therapeutic. This was awesome.
Oh, good. All right, Darcy. Well, you have a good day, and I'm excited for your tour.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.